allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. I was asking them, I said, why they're at? They said, he had orientation. I said, my son had orientation. They said, well, he's a teacher. Guess he had to be. Do I hear a motion to approve the previous minutes?
I make the motion.
I'll second.
Discussion, Mr. Mayor. On the first page of the minutes, the last paragraph, it says Tim Altizer made a motion to authorize the town attorney to run a legal advertisement addressing abandoned property. This was the property, the abandoned Gillespie property. Actually, my motion was a two-part motion. I went back and listened to the recording that I make of the meetings, and my verbatim exact wording was that we run the advertisement, and if there's no response, that we go ahead and clean that property up. The minutes are an accurate reflection of the second part of that motion, that if there's no response to the legal advertisement, that we clean that up. So I make a motion to amend the motion to include the second part of my motion that was made.
And just another point of discussion, I think that's the wording that would be in the legal notice, isn't it, Jim Conley? That if they fail to respond within so many days, we'll take that action. I mean, that's what the notice itself will say, isn't it?
Well,
That's what the notice is.
yeah. And that any charges that are incurred will be recorded as a lien against the property.
I mean, that's what the notice will say. That is what we're running a notice for, is to inform the property owner that if action's not taken, that we will proceed with action and bill them. That's what the legal notice will say.
I just don't feel like it's an accurate reflection of the actual motion that I made, though. Potentially, if there is no response, then the council could have to take action again. So if there is no response, then there will be an immediate cleanup of that property. Is that what you're saying, Jim?
Yes, the council's already voted, and the advertisement will stipulate exactly what we will be doing.
Okay, so there will be, how long would that have to run? Well, I'll bring that up later, I'm sorry.
Good?
I'm good. I rescind my amendment to the motion.
Okay. I got a second. Go ahead.
Yes.
Aye. Okay, public comment. I want to introduce Tom Lester. You want to come on up, Tom? Sure. Running for supervisor. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate it. Tom Lester, 194 East Hillcrest Drive, Cedar Bluff, Virginia. Gentlemen of the council, Mr. Mayor, and staff, I want to first thank you for your service to our community. Public service is the bedrock of representative democracy. It is a sacrifice, but it is also an honor. And as a citizen of this town, I appreciate you, and I commend you for a job well done. So thank you very much for everything. I felt that it was appropriate to introduce myself to the council. I am a candidate for the Tazewell County Board of Supervisors. I live here in Cedar Bluff with my wife Diane, our two children, Liam and Carson, our spirited dog Petey. I should probably mention I also live here with my father-in-law, Derek Campbell. We all love this town very, very much. I work at Southwest Virginia Community College. I'm the program developer of Workforce Solutions, where I focus on economic development, workforce training and credentialing. I also teach political science, small business management, entrepreneurship, and marketing. I am a graduate of Richlands High School, attended Southwest Virginia Community College, earned a bachelor's degree from Radford, and now hold a master's in public policy from Liberty University. God has been really good to me. I am blessed. As of late, I have been doing a lot of speaking to folks, and it's been a great experience. Usually, folks come very directly to a question, and that is, why are you running for the Board of Supervisors? And I answer them truthfully, because I want to see things get better, and because I feel that I can help. Now, before working in academics, I was in the business world for 20 years. And in business, no problem is unfixable and no success cannot be improved. That was the spirit that I feel is important in county government as well. It's not easy, but nothing worth doing is easy. It is imperative that our town and our county work together as partners. So I come to you and say that that will be my commitment to you should I win. As a teacher, I've learned that listening is more important than talking. So I want to hear your thoughts. And as a businessman, I've learned that actions speak volumes and results must be measured. You know this in your experience as an elected official. So I will do my part to support you and the council in this town. And without hesitation, I will ask you for the same. So I thank you for your time. I will not use this opportunity to ask you to vote for me. I will corner each of you individually and do that. But I ask that God will bless Cedar Bluff, you and your families, their state, and their nation. Thank you very
Well,
much.
thank you for coming. Thank you. Rick, come on up, Rick Barton.
Rick Barton, 367 Drew's Lane. I own OAC Outdoor Adventure Center. We do outdoor recreation infrastructure development, advertising, direct marketing, for anything outdoor rec related. In this little part of Virginia here, we're working on, with the Nature Conservancy, with the park that you already have in existence here. There's a 600-acre boundary that we could tie to. I wrote a proposal to them and they've agreed to let us walk through there and see if that's something we could develop.
For hiking trails.
Hiking, multi-purpose hiking mostly. Working with Christy Gleason on the Gleason property over here that Jim mentioned about some rock climbing, which is, you guys have natural 140s here, which is crazy. We do rock routes with Central Appalachian Climbing Coalition, and you've got some unbelievable rock structure on that Clinch River system down there. Working with the Kirby Initiative on the access points along the Clinch River. You guys are the head of Kirby. There's no navigable water really that way. From here on, you know, you guys will be the beginning of the Kirby Initiative. So I'm glad to help you guys any way we can with that. Other than that, that's about all we got going on here. We're working on an ATV trail system with Richland right now that will tie you guys to it through Middle Creek. Back in that way, it's huge. It's miles and miles and miles of ATV that will tie Taz and Buchanan County together, and hopefully going up into Pocahontas when we're done working with Sean Lindsay and Spearhead Trail Systems on that. So you guys have a lot of opportunity around here when it comes to outdoor recreation. I just want to let you know that we're here and working and we'll help in any way we can.
Thank you.
I've worked with Rick some, just amazing, just follow it, I mean, just anything you want, anytime, day, night. I've called and said, need 100 kayaks is what we had, about 102 people kayaking, he was on. I mean, he went and bought equipment and
We've got a kayak company here, bike rental company over in Burke's Garden. Anything we see we could, you know, help the community. You know, you go buy equipment, it takes forever to rent it out. But it's just the possibility of somebody looking at you and saying, wow, here's some potential in this sleepy little place. I think that's where it's gonna come, you know, that's what the big benefit will be.
yeah, we had, I'm 42, I'd never done it. And put me in the water, I was terrified. And I never must do whatever, just within seconds, it's something everybody needs to try. It really is. Age, I know York Lindsay went this weekend, he had a good time, and it's a lot of fun. Actually, we took off and 10 minutes later, Mr. McLaughlin come flying out there catching up. He said, I went to Walmart and bought me one of those.
I couldn't believe that.
We had suggested that if Rick had time to come by tonight, when we get to my town manager's report, we want to address some things that might involve you, if you could hang around,
Sure.
Rick, so
Be great.
appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
The Gleason property that you say, is that the old Randall Keene property? Is that where, with the cliffs?
Christie owns it
Yes.
now. It was
Robert
the-
Fox?
It was the dentist property and he passed away and it went to Christie, who, she's the landowner now. I think there's 23 acres in that boundary and then there's another 30 some acres on the front of it.
It's on the opposite side of the river. What the landowner he's describing, just opposite the river from where you're.
Okay, okay. I
Nature
know what you're
Conservancy
talking about.
actually owns that peninsula there. that we're
Right.
talking about now.
We're gonna do some landings. I know we got a landing. What's Scott Street? Is that the street?
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Do a landing.
Pretty big deal down there.
What impressed me the most, he said, everybody wants to go to the beginning. So we're it. they can't go any further. This is, I mean, it'll all start here, and that's where people's, you know, maybe check on putting businesses in or anything. I mean, it's a big deal.
A beautiful town, and the river is particularly, like you said, I kayaked it myself, but the views along the river here in Sea Lake is absolutely beautiful.
The Kirby Initiative is supposed to close by 2020. That's going to turn the Clinch River into a state park. So you'll be the head of one of the largest state parks, essentially, in the state of Virginia.
And the newest.
That'd be awesome. We appreciate you
Good
coming.
night, thank you, guys.
Any more public comments? Come on up. I wanted to call him Dad, or for me, I always call him Dad. When I was a little younger, he always came and took care of me a little bit. Steered me a bit.
Trying my best to raise him right. Darrell Cantrell, 219 East Hillcrest. It's a pleasure to be here tonight, see all you gentlemen, and sorry I haven't been here since December, but I try to read about you and keep up with you. I appreciate y'all doing a good job for the town as always, and as you always have, and I'm especially proud of the 2 new members and the job they've done, and the old guys too. But anyway, I just came tonight with my son-in-law, with Tom Lester. I've asked for everybody to support Tom. Tom's one of the brightest young minds I know, and I'm sure he'll work very hard for the county and for our part of the county, our end of the county. So that's all I did. I just came to support Tom and to thank the council for all your hard work and good work. How are you, Tim? So that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any more public comments? We'll move on to revised drug-free workplace policy. I'd like to get a committee report on it.
There were 4 of us. Who wants to make the report?
I'll make a comment and y'all can follow up because I know I'll leave stuff out as I always do. We took the old policy and just sort of upgraded it and brought it up to speed and moved comments around, bullets, so to speak, under each purpose and heading, under each heading. We actually found stuff that was stuck out there that didn't have a heading. So we agreed on where those headings would go. My recommendation is, though, that we do not accept the drug-free workplace policy because it's still has discretion upon the town to make a decision. And I don't think there ought to be any areas to where there have to be decisions made. It should be black and white. If you violate the policy, you need to be going for drug screening.
And the other 3 members, which is Kenny Shepherd, was the other council member, and the town attorney, and myself, I think, I'll speak for Neil, recommend that you do adopt this revised drug-free workplace policy as was presented to you.
In reading this, I just referenced my own drug policy I work under. It's like one's policy. And some things I question. I'll just go down to, I just made some notes on the 2nd page, down to alcohol and drug testing job applicants. All prospective employees, ... are subject to alcohol and drug testing. Does that mean they may not have to take one? And if so, under what circumstances would a new employee not have to take one? Why wouldn't that say all prospective employees will be subject, will take
The intent was that they do, Jim. Do you want to address, is the way it worded? I assume that hint that they are subject to it, that they are going to be drug tested. But do you
Yeah,
think that-
it doesn't say may be subject, it says are subject
Yeah,
to.
that was their intent that they are.
If
Yes, that's not a discretion.
you think that maybe different words should be used to make it clearer, But, you know, the meaning was
question
that
that
it
came to
should
my
be
mind.
mandatory there.
Yeah, but it's intended, that's intended to be mandatory.
That's a 100% policy. The next page, the town may perform drug testing in these occurrences. When someone acts unreasonably suspicious and there's cause to suspect erratic behavior, it says may be tested. I think that should say will be tested. Number one on the next page, page 3.
Oh, page 3, okay.
I know that, but there's a may to it
Well,
in
now-
my
Well,
circumstances.
now, number 1 that I'm reading here says shall.
It's not, it says may. Unless this was an older one.
Page 3, number 1.
Where did you get this?
That was made.
The one that's now employee shall be correctly highlighted.
Well, that's what I must have meant when I came to
Okay,
office and said.
yeah, that's an old one.
No wonder I
That's the things that have changed, yeah.
This is the old
The one I put here is the good one, and the ones I mailed to you, did you know, you all notice highlighted sections on those policies?
Yes,
There should have been, okay, that was the change.
No, this is what I had.
Okay.
When I came by, I mentioned I didn't get it, I did get it.
That's the type thing we changed, so.
Okay.
before we adopt this or not adopt it, I'd like to make a motion to table it so the council would actually have the updated version and be able to, it's very evident that all the council hasn't been able to review it.
That's what I got.
And I'd like to have them review it before we make any motion to accept it or not accept it.
Did the rest of you get the corrected copy, the highlighted? All the rest of you get the correct copy that had the highlighted changes? So I don't know how you ended up with that. I didn't actually put that together, but,
I'll second the motion, Mr. Mayor.
Any more discussion?
Brown's motion is to table this until all of the council members have a chance to review
Have
it.
the opportunity to review it, and I would like to
That'll give you a chance.
instill within my fellow councilmen, as I have before, please take the time to look through it and review it,
And if you have
and not go to sleep on it.
legal concerns, let's get those to our attorney who was present to answer those for you.
I do have a question that I was going to ask before the motion. Is it okay if I ask it now?
Yeah, go
Got a problem? Okay. Page 4, the first section, disciplinary actions, number 5. I wasn't an English guy in school. I was more of a math and science guy. The word unreasonably there in number 5, unreasonably is, I don't like that in anything. It's my definition of what's reasonable may be different than someone else's. Does that word, I can understand unreasonably failing a test. I mean, if you're on prescription medication, of course, that would be a reasonable reason to fail a drug screen. Does that word unreasonably, due to the use of the word or there, does that word unreasonably stretch across to refuse? Because I don't know of a reasonable reason to refuse.
No, number 5, what it says is unreasonably fail or refuse. Doesn't mean fail the test, it means fail to submit to the test.
Okay, so the word unreasonably is not an adjective to refuse there, or an adverb, I guess would be the correct term. It doesn't also, I mean, it says unreasonably fail or refuse. To me, there is no acceptable, reasonable reason to refuse. So that's not descriptive of the word refuse there.
Wasn't meant to be.
Okay, I guess I go back to my original question, is it?
Well, with Tim's question, why do we have to have unreasonably fail?
And I can kind of understand the fail.
Because you may have to fail to take it because of some obligation that you've got to not be present, or, I mean, I can't foresee all the possibilities, but I think what we were talking about was that instead of automatically penalizing somebody that had failed to submit, if they've got a reasonable basis for failing to submit.
Well, on this new revised one, where it says any employees involved in accident or personal property damage or the filing of workman's compensation claim, why would that say may be tested, not will be tested? That's a given, and in our circumstances,
No, maybe Mr. McLaughlin can explain. Sometimes, I think we talked about that for quite a while when we were trying to make the changes. And sometimes you have an incident where there's property damage, but suppose that the property damage is $50.
you could exclude that. You could make a certain value for property damage. Anything greater than $200? Anything greater than
I
$250?
subsequently, after our meeting, got a copy from Virginia Municipal League that I received after our meeting that they sent me, that they recommended. I don't know if I have it in here, but the wording in that policy stipulated that any employee who's involved in any incident where a summons, a ticket has been issued, is required to be that drug tested. That's how they narrowed it down. You know, we discussed that at length. How do you keep?
But if you have an incident that occurs on private property, then
you go,
there might not be any summons or law enforcement involvement, but you'd still be concerned about whether somebody was under the influence or something. But, the thing that we had discussed was that we didn't want to, every time that somebody had some minor occurrence where it was clear that there probably hadn't been any substance abuse, we just wind up having to cost the town over and over again every time somebody knocks down a mailbox or something.
Let me just right
do
quick.
we have a rash of that? That's the second time I've heard that. Do we have a rash of people knocking over mailboxes?
I don't think we have a rash of any accidents, and we certainly don't have a rash of drug abuses that I'm aware of, but anyway. On the post-accident testing, here's the exact wording from the copy that the Virginia Municipal League, our insurance carrier, sent. Following an accident involving a vehicle, and this was a county policy, will test any covered employee who receives a traffic citation from a moving traffic violation arising from the accident, or in the event the accident results in a loss of life, any covered employee who was performing a safety-sensitive function with respect to the vehicle at the time of the accident. That's the exact wording from what the Virginia Municipal League sent me.
And is that,
The workman's compensation, I think it's in our, that you could be, a workman's compensation, the way, could deny paying a claim if you don't do it.
And ours has that in there, doesn't it?
It says.
Yeah, the injury part is in ours.
But I think it still says may be tested. So, if you're gonna allow a workman's compensation claim, I think it should say will be tested. I mean, in other words, to protect the town from not being able to collect on workman's compensation claim. Now, our workman's comp may not require it, but I know that the powers does. It may be worth looking into it if our workman's compensation requires that before they will, honor a claim that they have to be assured it wasn't because of illegal drug use.
Well, the thing is, the way that we're involved, we have employees very often, like maybe two in one vehicle. The last incident that Rocky Central was here. Do you drug test the other one that's sitting over there that didn't receive any personal injury? He's involved in it, that you discussed all this at length to try to keep from sending,
then we
people
put
unnecessarily.
just like Tim was talking.
But,
We put limits to it.
I have, the ones that involve accidents, I always sit in for a drug test to let you know that's not something that, if you were injured, if it was an accident. Do you have any other input on that, Jim?
I'm asking that be addressed,
Yeah, yeah. I was trying to remember what all we discussed.
But, the model that you were reading from a minute ago didn't mention property damage at all
No, it didn't.
as a basis for requiring any test to be taken. And we inserted that so that the town manager, if there was property damage, actually had the discretion to require a test where, the other policy that he was reading from didn't require any test at any time for property damage.
course, number 3 on there, any employee may be tested on a random basis. We're in the process of doing that right now. Over the next 12 months, every single employee will be randomly tested. So we are doing that right now. One of our, we've already done the first employee, I believe, last week. So, and those are random. None of us here at Town Hall know who's going to be chosen. The company that we contracted with handles that. So that's also going on. Of course, that's number 3 there.
So I really didn't, I don't know, I don't feel like I got an answer there. It appears to me that if that word unreasonably is left in there with refuse, that it would be up to the discretion of the town manager. An employee could refuse a drug test, and if the town manager decided that was a reasonable reason, then they would not be subject to any disciplinary action. I just don't see any reason that you should be able to refuse a drug test. I mean,
Well,
maybe there's an example.
Listen to
out-
this. What if they pick your name out as the one that they're gonna test next month? And you're in Florida, you're on vacation, but they draw your name out.
A month ahead, you know that?
Yeah.
No, you don't know it.
They automatically have backups when that's done.
Okay.
They know they have number 2 on this. So.
Yeah.
Maybe for Mr. Altiger's concern, what we could do,
Which section are we talking about?
number
What is
5,
it? I mean,
the next to the last page. Okay.
Okay, that
If
is,
we put commas after the word fail and after the word refuse.
okay.
Okay, so,
Reasonably fail, comma, or refuse, comma.
and so that would not let,
So unreasonably doesn't, by any stretch, refer to refuse.
it's not descriptive of
Only
refuse.
refers to failure
Works for me.
to submit.
I would like to see that change.
Okay.
Is that what you said? You tabled it? You made the
I
motion?
made a motion and Tim seconded it. We're waiting on the vote
Yes.
after we've discussed it.
Yes.
I'd like, before we vote though, in this policy, it addresses pre-employment on into the policy. It addresses random on into the policy, and reasonable suspicion is in the policy. Other areas of the policy it addresses. The hang-up was post-accident. And I think we need to look at that and come up with limits, some kind of variance of what has to be what would have to be violated, and what the extent of that post-accident would be. To me, that statement ought to finish at the word reasonable suspicion testing. And that would be where my period would be, and leave out the upon selection or request of the town. That part bothers me. I want it to be black and white. I don't want any chances of it not, everybody being under this policy knows that that our town is a drug-free business here. And, that's the reason why I can't, suggest, recommend, passing it. With that being said, thank you, Mayor.
So you're taking the vote.
Which way?
Yeah, we've already started.
We starting over, or?
Where'd we go?
It was taking the vote on the.
Yeah, we took a
You
vote.
to
and
table
yes,
it.
yes.
Oh, me, aye.
Aye.
I believe everybody here wants to do that.
Okay, next, Crossroads Engineers.
They're not here, but when
we should
Jim
order.
does his report, it'll bring us up to date on their activities.
Okay.
Let me say this also, that Crossroads Engineering is working to, with me to help prepare a grant request to Cumberland Plateau for some funds to do some I&I studies, help us with some I&I studies on their wastewater disposal system, sewer system. They are hoping to submit within the next few months, another grant application to Virginia Department of Health to further our water system improvement projects. And we're making some good progress on our current projects that Tim will detail when he does his report.
Okay, thank you. Next, Linda Singleton, City Bluff Heritage Festival.
Thank you.
Come on up.
I'll be talking about the Heritage Festival, and also I wanted to make you all aware of our new children's shop across the street, Elizabeth and Parker, the Children's Closet. We did do a ribbon cutting for them this past week, and they're gonna be opening up, have an open house this Friday from 1 to 7. So if y'all get an opportunity, go by straight across the street here, check them out. It's a beautiful shop, and we're very happy to have them in our community, and we let them know that. So anyway, we also are working hard on the festival. As you can see from the brochure that we have, it's going to be here before we know it, September the 16th, 4 more weeks. And again, over 200 vendors. We had over 20,000 visitors to our festival each year. That's a lot of visitors in historic Cedar Bluff. And we're going to be meeting with our sheriff and the deputies, and also with our chief of police, and we're going to be going over the traffic, how we're going to handle all the many visitors for safety issues, and we'll be doing that here next week or so to get all that lined out. But anyway, we are just very excited to have this. We've already reached more than what we've had last year, this time last year with vendors. There's not a day goes by that people do not call, and we are getting people also outside the area, vendors. I had a lady that called from South Boston, we're getting them from Richmond, and so our festival is very well known, not only in Southwest Virginia, but also across the state. And yes, so we're very excited about it. We're going to have several more meetings coming up to go over everything to make sure everything goes like it should. So we're very, very excited. And do you all have any questions? Lots of arts and crafts, Civil War encampment, a lot of heritage demonstrations, the antique car parade. Please pass the word about that. It's going to be at 3 o'clock. And we are very excited about that. Jim Ray is going to again interview each driver. They'll be meeting up at Claypool Hill Mall, and they will come down through our town. Jim Ray will stop out here and interview each driver. And we appreciate that. And Freedom Forward, we want to thank Freedom Forward for all they do to help us with this. And we're going to have a lot of music, all different types that day. We've got 4 stages set up to entertain people. So there's going to be something for everyone. Now, any questions?
Kicking it off Friday night.
Kicking it off Friday night. Thank you. We start as soon as school is out. Our vendors start coming in here, and we're out here we have a map that Sharon has been working on and is working on now to get our vendors all in place. And we will be going up to the fire station again. Hopefully you all will let us go up there. And we will have music up there, and we'll also have a food vendor up there too, always. And so anyway, the next thing is I'd like for you all to put your name down on the list of if you can come and help work. We start after school is out, and we go until we get those that have come in on Friday night to set up. And then we're out here usually on Saturday morning, what, Jim, 6? Sometimes a little earlier, 5. I know it's still dark when we're out here and they start coming in. You take when you're setting up over 200 vendors, that's a lot. And so we can use all the help that we can get. We have buses, 4 county buses will be coming down, bringing our visitors from the high school. Also, we are going to have some church buses at Claypool Hill Mall. They can come up there, and we will have banners up there showing people where they can ride the buses up there. So there's we've got everything, I think, So, for a great festival, we're all excited.
And the biggest time, I think, Linda would tell you, that we actually need help and volunteers are on Friday and Saturday.
Yes.
During the events.
Oh, yeah,
That's when we need the help.
yeah, like I
Setting,
said.
marking
Oh, yeah,
spaces.
there's something for everyone to
Shuttles.
do. We need your help. I mean, we love this festival, and we know you all do too. And being our council, representing our community here, we know that you're excited too to help us with this. Thank you.
I look forward to it every year. He done this.
So the bulletins already being distributed,
Pass that on.
or there's already been distributed?
Yes, but we've already got
I'll
them
hand
Pass
in
it on
town.
there to Dan.
Cool.
I'm driving one of the church buses.
Oh, good.
Which end again?
Thank you, Dan. You do a great job, festival. I always take, that's my vacation day. I take it from work every year.
There are people, Linda, who come here from out of state,
Oh,
long distance,
yeah,
former
always.
residents that
These,
choose
the
to come
motels
here.
are full up here. They are full during the festival. So it helps the economy.
It's great. Town manager report.
That's pretty.
Okay, we did, I know you all asked about this last month, we have done some very nice repairs to the garbage truck, that garbage packer that Kenny Shepherd had mentioned before, and it looks good, it's working great, we're very pleased with those repairs. Terry, I don't know if you have it ready tonight or not, but we have some surplus property we need to bring a list to council.
I'll have it next time.
Okay, we've got 2 or 3 pieces of equipment that in the past we've sold to surplus property, so hopefully we'll have that list ready next month for you to consider surplusing, so we can take those items to auction.
Nothing.
We are working, I have met with and working with a group to get the town of Cedar Bluff included or designated as a hometown on the Clinch, which is an official designation that a group is working on, and that will grant tourism and economic opportunities to the localities that participate. There's a long list of local government surveys, meetings, requirements to have the town designated. When I met with the group, and I left the group, I thought, you know, a lot of this has already been done. We did a project several years ago with the Nature Conservancy, our Clinch It comprehensive planning booklet that you remember doing covers a lot of what's required for that. And we also have individuals that are very up on this, have attended a lot of these meetings, have a lot of this training, and have a lot of the things that we're required to show to help us qualify done. And one of those is Rick Barton, who talked to us earlier tonight. And one of the things I'd like to suggest is that we consider appointing Rick Barton just as a citizen outdoor recreation advisor to represent the town. It would require no budget, it's no money involved. It basically is for us to tap into Rick Barton's training and expertise and the meetings and certifications he has to help the town qualify as a hometown on the Clinch. Rick is involved right in this community, as we talked tonight, working with, he helped organize the Cedar Bluff Business Professional Association's kayak event, the River Float. We can tap into the points and benefits he could bring to the town if he was representing the town. So I would like to suggest that the town consider just appointing him as a citizen advisor, outdoor recreation advisor to the town, so that he can, you know, he's already doing it, but continue to work with me and town staff and with the council to the possibility of developing some further recreational opportunities in town and helping us qualify for hometowns of the Clinch program. And that's something we can get a lot more information to you as we get into that program.
How does Rick feel about this?
I'm down. I help you guys anywhere I can, you know, I'm sitting in these meetings anyway.
Rick could be a tremendous asset.
I work with Larry a lot, and Larry's helped Richlands get their designation. It's really a nice banner to wear
Right now.
for your town, you know, you go to advertising. Because a lot of people know the Clinch is one of the most biodiverse, you know, river systems in the nation. They're putting in a campus in St. Paul that's going to be directly associated with the Clinch and its biodiversity. So I think to get the designation will help down the road.
This, as Clinch River Valley Initiative, as you refer to as Kirby, some of the members didn't know, their work to have a linear Clinch River State Park developed will be unique and different from any other state park in Virginia in that it will span several counties along the Clinch River. And through those communities, there will be sites, picnic areas, recreation areas, camping areas, kayak and river access points for people that like to do tubing or kayaking. There will be different aspects to that linear park. Cedar Bluff has, number one, a beautiful section of the Clinch River. Number two, we probably have the most biodiversity of any section of the Clinch River right here in Cedar Bluff. And we have some excellent opportunities for river access points here in town that will be just wonderful benefits to our community if we can develop those. So we're really excited about that, and Rick's already doing these things that will benefit the town without us really.
So,
Do you need a motion?
do we need a motion on this, or since there's already agreement on both parties?
I think it'd look good to do a motion and have it in the minutes, to appoint Rick Barton as a citizen advisory, a citizen outdoor recreation advisor to the town.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
I couldn't get all that out.
And I'm excited about that, and, you know, as things move along, Rick, I might holler at you some, hey, can you come to council meeting next month, and let's help update the council on this or that, you know, so, and, we really appreciate it, and any way we can help you, you know, we'd like to do that too, with your districts. And I think that's, oh, we have one other thing, there's a personnel issue, we have a new, our former police chief, of course, is no longer with the town, and I have appointed a new acting chief of police, who is Sean Short. He's here tonight, and our charter requires that the council approve that appointment, that supervisory appointment. It's up to me to make the appointment, but I have to subsequently bring it before this council to get your approval of my appointment.
Make a motion that we follow up on your approve of your decision on hiring.
I like to second that.
Discussion. I come in yesterday, asked him if there was anything new going on or that I needed to know in the town, and I was told, excuse me.
After you were here.
I don't interrupt anybody. I'd ask that I not be interrupted. I was told that you were resigning. So you've changed your mind, is that correct?
Yes, I withdrew my resignation.
Okay. Along those lines, I would just ask that I think we really need to fill this position as soon as we can. If we haven't already started taking applications, I think it would certainly be in the town's best interest to start tomorrow. This position doesn't need to be left vacant. We need to have that position filled. That's my comments on that. I was kind of caught off guard by that because yesterday I was told you resigned, and now it's up for a vote to be interim police chief. So that one caught me off guard.
That's how much can happen in a few hours.
I'm sure, because I come in and there was nothing going on, and then I'm start getting calls that our police chief has either fired or been resigned. I'll address that here in a minute, though.
And Sean Short is acting chief, so as of right now, that position is filled by him as acting chief, and we do have a position open. We're short one officer, so and Sean's getting the word out. So He's already contacted the county and local jurisdictions and getting the word out, and we've already got some calls and some feedback, so we're actively soliciting applications for an additional officer.
Yes.
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 And that's all as of yesterday afternoon, to clarify. It just so happens the council's meeting just a few hours after all of this happened.
Congratulations. Is it all for your report?
Yes.
Okay. Next, payment of bills. James, where is this? What page is it?
Page one.
Okay.
The very first check on there, Citywide Business Professional Association, 5,000 of that is money just passed through from the county. The county actually wrote the check for the festival to us for $5,000. We passed it through to the Citywide Business Professional Association, and also our annual 2,000 budgeted contribution is included.
25090.
That was reimbursing Glenn Baker for some items he got for the fire department. So I think it was some parts for the
Okay.
trucks, yeah. It was reimbursed. He turned in the tickets and went.
Is he any longer a conservatory or anything?
No,
No? What about the chief? Is he no longer a conservatory?
no.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
I make a motion to pay the bills.
They say that.
Yes.
Yes.
Town department reports.
Police department issued 5 summonses this month, answered 14 calls, patrolled 1,469 miles. That's excluding what the chief put on his video.
Fire department, they had 4 monthly meetings since the last visit, responded to 3 calls during the month, and had 2 additional firefighters receive their emergency vehicle operation certification. Total hours of training, 78, hours responding to incidents, 67. And then also had Rick's report from the water department. Looks like they finished the Alex Avenue project. Their lines passed pressure tests. All the back samples came back good. Made 21 customer service connections for all this new.
That's all, no, that's
Just
existing.
Alex Avenue project's been cleaned up and the project's complete. But there are 2 main line leaks.
Next, unfinished business.
Have we run the ad on the Gillespie property? I'm sorry?
No.
No, okay. You expect to do that soon, or, okay.
Where is
Okay, how long would that have to run before we can?
I think
Those were dry.
I'm sorry,
I
I'm
think 2 weeks.
2 weeks, okay,
2 consecutive weeks.
okay.
Any other unfinished business?
An update on the business that's behind, that's not been paying their meals tax or purchasing a business license? I called your office,
Yeah.
so that's
Some
the,
figures here.
that's the interest, or that's,
No, that's the sales that were imputed. We got figures from the Department of Taxation for what information had been provided to them. And it said in what we received that any months that were not included were because they hadn't received anything for those months themselves. So I had to calculate an impute for every one of those months, which is a lot of months, how much the sales would have been for those months. So we could calculate the meals tax based on the imputed sales.
Okay, do you have a better, I know last month that I couldn't really get a definitive answer as to the amount of time that they've not been paying. Do you have a better handle on that tonight?
I can't tell you anything more than what I received, okay? What I've received begins with the beginning of the year 2013 and goes forward from there.
Okay, did they pay their meals tax and business license prior to 2013, Jim?
He has a list of exactly the meals tax that wasn't paid there. And I know that they did have a business license tax last year. I don't have that file in here, but that is what's owed. What you have in front of you is what's due on the meals tax.
Okay, I thought you were, now maybe I'm confused here, but I thought you were talking, the information you had, Mr. Carmody, was from the Department of Taxation, their information.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm talking about are their payments to the town. So prior to 2013, they did make a business license and pay their meals tax to the town. Is that, am I understanding correct?
I didn't bring my file in here, but you have all that, Jim, with exactly what they owe, what months they owe.
All I got was from 2013 forward, so
Okay,
I can't speak to anything that would or would not have occurred prior to that year.
If that's what I sent you, then that's when the delinquent starts. Like I said, I don't have my file in here, but Jim Carmody has exactly the list of exactly which months are delinquent.
Okay, so about 4 years then. Okay, thanks.
Any more unfinished business?
The TEA 21 Phase 1, I've heard several times that that's complete except for just a few minor things. What are we lacking to be able to complete that and say it's a done deal?
The VDOT has met with us on that. There was just a curb improvement up the street. I believe that's the only thing that is still lacking. It's a curb adjustment to make it handicap accessible on Cedar Valley Drive. And when we met kicking off Phase 3, we reviewed that. So that's not holding up Phase 3. That's just something that when the construction workers are here to work on Phase 3, they're going to clear up that one line from Phase 1.
Okay, so you're going to have that done when Phase 3 is started, correct?
Yeah, they're going to do that, right, and VDOT's working with us. They're the funding source, and it's all with their approval.
Able to get any projected
No, they're still working right now to get easements, and that's the biggie right now. It's time consuming, so it's frustrating sometimes, but that's where we are.
Last thing, under this section. I brought this up several times, so I'm just going to make the motion and we'll decide what the majority of the council wants to do. This thing of writing checks to people who owe monies to the town, I'm going to make the motion that we screen all of our checks so that the treasurer can withhold payment of any claim or demand by any person, firm, or corporation against the town until any indebtedness or other liability due from such person, firm, or corporation shall first have been settled and adjusted. And I make that motion. We stop writing checks to people who owe monies to the town.
Tell you a second. Okay, let's move on. Any more unfinished business? Okay, we'll move on next to new business. Any new business?
Before I was elected, I brought to the attention of this council that I felt that quite possibly the provisions of the Federal Fair Labor Standards Act may not be applied correctly regarding the compensation of overtime pay to our town employees. Has that been looked into?
I don't think anybody's requested me to look into anything like that.
Did you look into it, Jim?
As far as I know, we're in compliance with their Fair Labor Standard Act regulations.
If an employee works an hour of overtime, how are they compensated as far as how much comp time they receive? I'm sorry, I'm asking Jim, Mr. Mayor.
And I'm not answering. If you've got any questions like that, I'm in your,
Yes, but I also have the option of asking these
and I
questions
have the option
publicly.
of not answering.
And that's fine. There certainly is probably a reason that you're not answering.
The reason I'm not answering is, and I've expressed that before, is I don't need any type of financial advice from a convicted money laundering felon.
Well, thanks for the personal attack, Jim. I appreciate that. But that was 20-some years ago, Jim. I have paid my debt to society, and the people of Cedar Bluff put me in this seat to protect the interest of the citizens and the town employees, not only just this town. So that far overrides your personal attack on me, I think.
Okay, here's what we'll do. I'm not gonna have any bickering.
Okay, I'm going to stop. And
You
we
ask a
discussed this
question, he's
before.
not gonna answer it. Yeah, we're gonna leave it there.
Okay, sounds good. I'll take that.
All right, any more new business?
The chief of police vacancy. I'm sorry, go ahead, James. I'm tired of talking for a second.
Okay.
Excuse me, go ahead.
No, go ahead, new business.
I have no new business, except welcome aboard, Sean.
All right.
The chief of police vacancy, I'm going to make a motion to go into closed session. But to be FOIA compliant with that motion, I need to know whether that was a disciplinary action or a resignation. I'm going to make a motion to go into closed session for discussion of that. But it's not, you can't just say personnel. It has to be more specific than that, right? So it looks to me like it's either going to fall under discussion of disciplining of an employee or a resignation of the employee. But before I can make an appropriate motion, I need to know which one it was.
I think the motion can say he wants to meet in closed session to discuss the status of the chief of police. That should be.
Do you feel that's FOIA compliant, Mr. Carmen?
Well, you can have it in the alternative and say that it's for further discussion of the discipline or resignation. So that whichever it turns out to be, you've covered that.
Okay, thank you.
So I hear a second. Go into closed session. No second. Good. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Careful.
About to choke on my word.
Yes.
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 Thank you.
Yeah.
And I said aye.
You did. You did say that.
Aye. I just wanted to look at it.